This podcast is sponsored by HBB Marketplace. If you're a small business owner and looking to grow your business but need just a few resources to get to where you need to be, visit hbbmarketplace.co. And when you do, tell them Ressie G sent you.
You know, sometimes this life can get rough. You get knocked down, but
Welcome to the official companion podcast for ReVoyce's The Retreat. I'm your host, Ressie G, not Cardi B, but I still get to the money. And today's episode is called The Definition of Trying Your Best. I'm going to talk to you a little bit about how that shows up for me personally and how it showed up in episode 2, Relax, Relate, Unpack.
we gon' give it all until the end of time.
We ain't going nowhere. We'll be standing right here until the end of time. Till the end of time. Until the end of time. Till the end of time.
I can always remember watching Oprah's masterclass, and she was talking about how as she was growing up and maturing and getting better at her craft, that when you do your best, people notice. When you do your best, people notice. And that has always proven to be true for me in my life, because I've always wondered what it looks like to do your best and what trying to do your best meant to me. But it just comes naturally. When you're authentically presenting yourself as who you are, how you like to do things, and not leading with any type of malicious intent, you honestly go into every task, every challenge, every leap or bound in life with the best of intentions. When I started my very first show, Chasing Dallas, here in Dallas, Texas, I had no idea what I was doing. None whatsoever. Granted, I had Google at my fingertips. I had books. I had everything that anybody could go and find a resource for, but you have to have a passion for doing things before you can consciously do your best at it. Most people know this story, but for those of you that don't, here we go. When I actually embarked on the journey to doing the show and creating it, I wanted to make the best effort that I could to depict Dallas, Texas's Black gay scene the best way I could. I wanted to make sure that even if role models or mentors were here thriving in Dallas, I wanted to just kind of do something and put some people on a platform so that they could aspire to being like them. I had no idea how I was going to do that. I met a guy who actually helped me and gave me some pointers on where to find the camera people. I had no idea what to do, how to get it. I had no equipment. All I had was a heart to do something. I had a little bit of guidance from one of the people over the brand that housed the show. But of course, they lived all the way in Atlanta and I lived here in Dallas. So as much that I can get from them, I took it. After filming for about 8 months, I went into the process of sending the footage and it being edited. And when I tell you, I never knew until doing this project how intricate editing really can be when you're doing it solo on your own. I can only assume that the process was a little bit easier because I was lending ideas or helping the creative juices flow during the editing process. But with the retreat, it's just me solo. So because I have a heart for what I'm doing, it is and has become somewhat fulfilling to see the product. But at the same time, there is a lot of ridicule that has come with doing this show and branching out and doing this show on my own, doing things that I used to have help with, but now I don't. I can't sit here and tell you guys that it has been an easy journey, because it has not. But I can say that because I've led with positive vibes, well, as many positive vibes as I could get and muster up, and great intentions, that is how I have done my best with putting out this show and trying my best to be innovative. The first episode was late. The second episode was late. And I'm trying my best alone, just being 100% to get it out on time. But the main part of it is that it is coming out. And my best effort is to always expose or enlighten or shine a light on a particular sector of the community that we don't often see. When it comes down to mental health, bonding, and just unpacking anything, we tend to, as Black gay men, as a Black gay community, LGBTQ plus community, sweep those things under the rug and just say, you know what, let's not worry about it. Let's just move on. I'll deal with it later. And a lot of times the deal with it laters are stress, are troubling, or mental breaks, and we never have time to actually do what we need to do to get past those main errors that we have developed. So when you try your best and when you do your best, people notice. And I can only say thank you to those that are currently listening and watching that have stuck by me, because you guys see me doing my best. So thank you. As we dig into the episode, we see that JayTee, Neiman, and Red all seem to start bonding. They all seem to have something in common. We understand that when you are a person that has something in common with someone else, you automatically gravitate to them and you automatically start to just develop some type of camaraderie with that person. And we see that with those three as they go to the store together to get some snacks and then come back to the house and just sit and talk in Neiman and now Red's room about just how they're experiencing things, what they've gone through, and how they're feeling. There were times where we had to cut the camera so that they can just focus on having conversations, because not everything, like I said before, is for the camera. A lot of this was more so for people to bond and actually retreat and get away from the noise. And that's what I really wanted to happen, especially with each and every person. If I saw that there was a time where they were getting close, I would just say, you know what, okay, we're going to just cut the cameras and then we step out the room and just, go on to something else or do something else or do some back end stuff and just let them bond. So you may not see the full conversation of everything that they talked about, especially their interactions from their previous shows. But the good thing is that they did have that conversation amongst each other, and they had time to just share their experiences from a place that they had some things in common. Neiman came from a show called The Grind Dallas Edition. Red came from a show called The Mix Up Dallas. And JayTee came from a show called The Real Hot Boys of Houston. Something that all of these gents shown on the episodes from their shows, from what we saw, or from what I saw, is that they all had personal ties to the things that they wanted to make successful, which was their entrepreneurship, their personal lives, their families, their dating lives, those certain things. And as I had studied them on social media, I noticed that they all care about a unit of family. Red with his children, Neiman with his children, as well as his workplace that he, sees as family members at his work. And JayTee, especially with what he was going through with friendships and things, and unfortunately people that have departed, especially through social media, and his ballroom family. All three of those elements show that you are vulnerable enough to put your life and your experiences out there to social media for people to see, but still private enough for us all to leave some type of imagination to, I wonder what's going on with them. I want to get to know them. I want to know what's behind the post button. And with that, and them coming to the retreat, they are wanting to better themselves in situations that may have weighed them down in life. And this is the first time that they would have an opportunity to do that. Going into the first challenge, everybody was having fun. They were running around the house. They were having fun. They was doing all this stuff and just really trying to follow the instructions from what we gave them, what Joseph gave them, just to have a good time. This next activity, the 2 truths and a lie, was a moment to actually see what truth were they going to give to this room of people, production, therapists, for us to receive, potentially judge, and comment on, or even have our own private thoughts about. From what we gathered during that process was a lot of people in general, as I watched it back, as I was in that moment, I took from that a lot of people just want to have a moment and an opportunity to express how they may have been hurt in the past, misunderstood in the past, and get the opportunity to share that with people that may understand. Because when you're going through something, if you don't go to the right people, have therapy, have a confidant, best friend, family members that you trust, there are a lot of things that we hold inside that we don't necessarily talk about or put out to the general public. The 2 truths and a lie that we actually dug into and kept the other ones off camera was JayTee and King Payne. The choice that I made to show those two were to reveal how something very small, but definitely very critical in today's society, could be wavered as being good, bad, or just brushed over. When JayTee expressed that he had previously done OnlyFans, the world nowadays looks at that as either something really, really bad or something honestly kind of good. When a person has the gumption to expose themselves like that and just give a jump at, hey, this is me, I don't care what you think, but this is something that I've done, for those in the room that did not know, it shows some bravery. So when JayTee mentioned that and everybody kind of glazed over it and kept it moving, you could see in his face a level of relief that he unpacked that. And I'm sure that in future conversations, if it comes up, that one experience of people not really caring about what you had done or shunning you for doing a type of work that is quote unquote taboo, he would be more equipped with the courage to just talk about it and then look at what he learned from it. When we take a look at what King Payne first gave us, it showed that he was hiding. It showed that this person with all this personality has a truth to himself, but a little bit of a struggle with being transparent because there's a guard up. Throughout King Payne's journey on reality television or reality-based series, we always saw a jovial, quick, witty, funny person, but this is the very first time we've ever been able to kind of dig into something that happened in his past and something that was happening currently to him and how that affected him. When he went into the prom experience and how he felt that he was pretty much discriminated against because of his skin color, because of his race, that honestly revealed a lot to me that I didn't even think of. When Joseph asks, was he still trying to be the king and really expose or show that he kind of rose above that, I can't say enough how profound it was to see King Payne kind of digest that and become somewhat emotional about that situation or even answering that question, because I didn't know that he had that experience with Prom King, but I had my own similar experience when I was in high school as well. My senior year of high school was that one year where I just wanted to get out of school and I was just tired. I had been to 3 different middle schools, 3 different high schools due to life. Had come from losing my dad, not being really connected with my mother at the time, and then being in the foster care system and bouncing around. So my senior year of high school, I had a job, I had gotten a car, and I was totally new to this school. So I was looked at as the quote unquote popular kid. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to run for prom king as well. And made my little posters, put them up, had the votes, just like King Payne. But instead of me being discriminated against for my skin color, I was discriminated against because I was gay. Or honestly, I didn't know what I was at the time. I hadn't come out because I was more concerned with getting out of school. When it came to a head, I noticed that my teacher, Mr. Haney, I'll never forget him. He was my, he's my calculus teacher or whatever type of math I was taking at that time. He had ripped down and hidden a poster. When I was leaving his class, somebody had asked me, hey, are you okay? Did you see the poster? And I'm like, what poster? And they was like, oh, you didn't see the poster? And I was like, no. And they said, well, Mr. Haney got it. So I asked Mr. Haney to see the poster and he told me no. And I was like, what's wrong with it? Like, what is it? So he had gotten the poster and it was in 2 pieces, and because he had ripped it up. And when I looked at it, a football team member of one of the guys that was running for prom king as well had created this poster where it was a ballot, like a voting ballot. And at the time it was 4 of us running. And the first line had his name, the person's name, with a little box checked. So the next 3 boxes were describing the other 3 contenders to become prom king. It said that white boy, that nerd, and of course the last one I felt like was talking about me, that faggot. And when I saw that, it put into perspective how people see you. And later on, I got an apology from the football player that was running because he said that he didn't feel that way and somebody else had created that poster. I don't know so much at the time that I believed him, but nowadays, or now today, I'm just like, okay, whatever. It's just always going to be a memory to me because your high school years are those years that prepare you to go into the world, into college. It's kind of like your last safe haven. And to me, I believe that that safe haven for King Payne had been taken away from him just because of how he will forever feel that his skin color, his race, was a deterrent as to why he did not get that particular achievement of becoming prom king, which is not right. Nothing about that is right, especially when you have teachers and staff members and people and students in leadership roles that are supposed to be there as your support systems, not agreeing or just letting it happen. I don't know the full story of what happened, but I really would love to know because it's just sad to hear and see that he felt that way as a student. Before you get out into the world, you should not feel as if you're not protected because you spend, at the time, 40 hours a week at a school that is supposed to be the second coming of your parents because you're not at home, and to not feel protected is sad. When King Payne went into what was happening at the time that we were filming with the rapper and the comedy show, or the comedy competition rather, it really was a nod to how this world is so ass backwards. I've had celebrities do things to me and be rude and crude and try and block opportunities, but I could see on King's face as he was talking about it that he was truly hurt by not feeling just feeling inadequate and not feeling like he was the person for the job. And I can only imagine when he reaches out to this person that he revered in a way, that he wasn't enough. To be told not now, not now, not now, and then still not get the opportunity is just really fucked up. I mean, there's no way around it. It just shouldn't be. And so a big piece of Two Truths and a Lie that we learned on and off camera was when you tell your truth and show who you are through that truth, you become more of who you're supposed to be. And it's a relief because then you have what you didn't. People in your corner, people that have your back to push you and keep you going. Now, granted, sometimes there are people that will use your truth against you to hurt you, and you have to, kick in with your discernment and understand that that will pick up for the lack of the support. But for me, in life and just going through the situations with building ReVoice, it has not been easy. I decided to stop a Ressie G production, as you guys know, because in October of 2022, the last deal or the effort that I had to bring the retreat to another channel fell through. When that fell through, a close friend of mine left me. My right hand and my left hand with my production left me. And they were close friends as well. And I had just lost my mom, so I was going through a lot. But the truth of that situation was, hey, get up, keep going. Yeah, it's tough. Yeah, it sucks. Yeah, they left you, but you cannot stop. Why can't you stop? Because your vision is bigger than your current circumstance. Your vision is bigger than your current state of mind. Your vision is bigger than how small your circle got in 24 hours. So what did I do? Got up, licked my wounds, dusted myself off, and looked for an editor. A lot of people were expensive. So of course, for me, I couldn't afford that. I was going through a transition with my job and with my home, and I was having car trouble. So of course, I'm not a multimillionaire yet, so I can't afford to pay for a miraculous edit. So got to do it myself. We're working a 9-to-5, trying to figure out other sources of income, and also doing this show solo in so many aspects. I mean, it's not easy, y'all. So excuse me if things come out a little late, because I'm still learning and I'm doing this all on my own. That's a truth, a big truth. And even to this day, for those that had left me in a time where I needed them, the truth of the matter is, I don't think that I can ever look at them the same when I see them. It's almost like, I described it the other day to my best friend, like in the movie Hercules with Disney, when you look at like the gods and how they have that glow around them, and then the quote unquote mortals, they don't have that glow. It's like when you leave a person out to their own devices and just out to the wolves to die, and then they live, the glow is gone that you see around them. And that's just it. There are people that were in close proximity that have talked so much mess about this project and it coming out and it not coming out. And for me to hear it, because some people have recorded some stuff, for me to hear it is still a hard truth that helped me to grow. And as I have evaluated where I'm at in life, I have come to the conclusion that the hard and the soft truths only make me better. And those are my secret weapons that I can use to get to the next level. No one will ever understand how you experience something hard. No one will ever understand how you experience something gentle. One thing that people will know is the story that you give them and what you tell them, unless they ask you for it. For me, the truth of the matter is, life is hard. People sometimes don't care, and you have to figure it out the best way you can by trusting the universe, God, and your ancestors. For those of you out there who don't have the support like others, I'm thankful that my support system is close, even though a lot of people have departed, their father departed, but I still have those people behind me still pushing me. My mom is my best friend, a couple of other friends that are there to actually push. And I can't be nothing but grateful for them. But the truth of the matter is, when you as an individual define the experiences that you have as lessons, and then you take what happens from those lessons to apply them to your life, to be a better person, to be a more intentional person, to be a person that shows growth and live your life as a happy one. The truth of the matter is that you become greater. One major factor that we all have to understand is that when you are doing your best and living in your truth, they go hand in hand. Not only do I think that these men are doing that and still doing that, I think that they are telling their truth the best way they can and learning from trying their best. As you try your best, people notice. As you do your best, people notice. As you live in your truth, it equates to being the best you can be. Join me next week as I talk about episode 3 and my personal viewpoint on whatever is going on during that episode. Again, I may have some guests come through, So make sure that you subscribe, click, and press that notification bell on the ReVoyce's YouTube channel. Until then, I'm your host of the official companion podcast for the retreat, Ressie G, not Cardi B, but I still get to the money. And I will continue to make sure that everything I give you from my mouth is loving and truthful and my best to your ears.